Last Tuesday, the 28th of March 2017, O2, otherwise known as Telefonica UK, became the third mobile network in the UK to offer VoLTE and native Wi-Fi calling to their customers. Now, this happened the day after Apple's iOS update on the 27th of March, which then gave iOS 10.3 and the carrier update 28.3, which provided the software on the phone basically to provide native voice over LTE or VoLTE and Wi-Fi calling. Now at this stage, unfortunately, it is only available to the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus with that update, although other phones should be coming very soon, especially things like the Samsung flagships S7, S7 Edge and the very recently released S8 and S8 Edge, as well as most likely the previous iPhones, because iPhones are very easy to support with the centralised carrier system. Now, the VoLTE is only available for call initiation in certain areas of the UK at the moment. So you have to be in London, Leeds or Slough in order to initiate a call over VoLTE. O2's coverage map has a toggle for viewing the 4G calling footprint on their map, and as you'll see on when you browse it, it is just really Slough, London and Leeds which are currently covered, which is vastly smaller than their 4G footprint as a whole, but it takes time to enable 4G calling on a network because of the huge grid of masts and the massive variety of different sort of layouts in use, as well as things like routing and handover, which is very complex to do on VoLTE, and it has to be rock solid because people do notice when calls drop. However, the native Wi-Fi calling supports the handover from Wi-Fi to 4G anywhere in the UK. And this is because if it didn't, then if you went out of the range of your Wi-Fi in a Wi-Fi call, the call would then just drop, whereas now it will hand over to 4G. And perhaps in areas where you can't initiate calls on 4G, it'll be maybe a little bit less reliable at carrying the call on 4G in those, but it's certainly better than certain call droppage. So definitely a bonus there. Now, in order to get the Wi-Fi calling, you cannot have O2's 2Go solution running on your device or your account, because O2's 2Go works as a over-the-top Wi-Fi calling solution designed so that phones that don't necessarily get the carrier updates can do Wi-Fi calling, much like other networks do sort of over-the-top app-based Wi-Fi calling. But obviously having two Wi-Fi callings on the same device and same account is going to cause no end of problems, and therefore you have to have sort of one or the other. And both do have advantages, certainly, with obviously a native approach being accepted to be more reliable than an over-the-top app-based approach. But O2's 2Go does have some other features that native Wi-Fi calling doesn't have. So it really depends what your sort of needs and wants are, which is a bit outside the scope of this video really. The final requisite is to be on an O2 SIM only or contract plan. So one, it all sounds very complicated, so I'm just going to basically summarise what you need. So you basically need a supported device, which is currently an iPhone 7 or iPhone 7 Plus, with the latest software on it. You need to be in a coverage area with 4G calling in order to initiate calls on 4G without Wi-Fi calling handover. You also need to be on a contract or SIM only pay monthly plan, and you need to not have O2's 2Go set up on your account. And then it should all work really. And as time goes forward, it will get simpler because it will basically just be a case of having a modern smartphone with up-to-date software, and then that'll be it. VoLTE will work pretty much, as long as you don't have 2Go set up on your account, I suppose. So it is just really a case of now waiting and seeing how device support improves, because certainly the 4G calling coverage will improve with time. VoLTE is useful for O2, as it is for any network, because it shifts traffic from the circuit switch layers of 2G and 3G onto 4G, which is the most efficient way of carrying traffic at the moment. 4G calling also results in higher quality calls and much faster call initiation times, so calls are set up very much faster. So from pretty much dialing the number to being on the phone to someone else can be like almost instant, basically. None of the sort of dead time before it starts ringing, and it is really actually quite noticeable. So it's totally not surprising that O2 has done VoLTE, and I expect that Vodafone will do VoLTE soon enough as well, certainly in the year 2017, so that then, hopefully in a few months, all the operators here have VoLTE. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If this is not making any sense at all, then feel free to ask in the description or speak to, say, an O2 store or customer services, as O2's stores usually have very helpful and knowledgeable members of staff who can actually resolve a lot of problems, even complex account ones, which is quite nice.